Hi there, my name is Krista, and maybe just like you, you're laid off. Like you just got laid off from your amazing tech job or a job where you support yourself or support your family and you're on a single income. So I totally understand, and that is why I'm here. I'm making this video to sort of tell you my experience being laid off for the past 2 months and what kind of benefits I've been able to get through the state of California, how I'm able to survive on a single income, and just any little tidbit that helps at least one person out there. I hope I can at least help one person. I would be so grateful. Even though I was laid off 2 months ago, I had been searching for a job for at least 5 months to this point. So 5 months of job searching without a result or any type of new job on the horizon is a bit concerning. And so I just wanted to share some of the things I've learned along the road these past 5 months in my job search, and the types of benefits that I've been receiving and how you can get them, and maybe some other tips and tricks that might help. First things first, you get laid off. You're in shock. You don't know really what's next for you. I know the feeling, how you're just feeling doomed, right? So you don't know how you're going to pay your rent. You don't have a savings. You are just screwed, basically. For those that did receive a severance package and do have a savings, you're very lucky. I did not receive a severance package for the last layoff that I was a part of, so I did not have any extra income coming my way. All I received was my final paycheck along with my cashed out vacation days, which weren't very many. So the first thing that I did when the company laid me off is I asked for my employee file. They have 30 days from the date that you ask for it to send it over. I had never heard of this before. This is the first time I've ever asked for an employee file before. Thankfully, a coworker of mine told me about this, and you get everything from performance reviews. I mean, it can vary from company to company, I'm sure, but I received more information than I expected. So all of my performance reviews are here. So any proof that I did a phenomenal job at this company is in this file. And that is something that I had worried about, because the day I was laid off, they shut off my access to Google Docs. Basically, the Google Suite was locked down. I couldn't retrieve any of my my performance reviews or files. You definitely want to keep copies of those as you get them in, but at the time, I wasn't thinking straight, of course. When I start a job, I always think I'm going to be there forever. So I wasn't thinking about saving copies of my performance file. So keep that in mind, keep copies of those. But if you don't have them, they should be able to provide those for you when you ask for your employee profile. So I also received all my new hire forms, any other acknowledgments. So there's stuff in here that I had no idea I was going to receive, like what kind of benefits I received at the job. And there's a couple other personal things, personal records that they gave me. So very good to ask for this first off the bat. One thing that I wanted to mention about your employee file is that they will not provide you with pay stubs. So what you need to do is go into the ADP website or wherever you receive your copies of your pay stubs, where you go in and request your vacation time, that type of situation. You need to go in there and download at least, I would say, 12 months worth of paychecks, pay stubs, because a lot of these programs do ask for either the past, let's say, past couple quarters worth of pay stubs, or they're going to ask for you to do some math to do a average of what you make per quarter. So I've seen different types of asks when it comes to these programs, these benefit programs. So make sure you go and download those pay stubs so that you have them, because you will have to upload them into these benefit websites. The next thing that I did that very day that I was laid off was I applied for unemployment benefits. Okay, so that is going to be your source of income, and just be prepared. I did not receive mine for over a month, and that is an error. So because my life is so complicated every single day, my benefits did not come through because I apparently had an account that I had created when I was laid off before, and there was some type of situation where I signed up for a new account and it recognized my social security number, and it was sort of in like a midair collision. Okay, so I was never informed. I was never called. I was never told that I have two account, or I was trying to make an account that already existed. So that actually hindered me from receiving any benefits. So I had to call them and say, hey, where's my, where's my money? And they said, so there's something wrong in the system, and you apparently already have an account. You tried to create a new one. So what we need to do is delete the new one that you just created, go back to your old one and update the email address, update your information. So they did that over the phone for me. So be sure that if you're having any doubts about something that's going on with unemployment department, to be sure to call them and get that straightened out right away, because it could mean you have to wait a while to get, a paycheck. So next thing I did, I applied for something called CalFresh. So CalFresh is California. Basically, it's food stamps. So it's called an EBT card. Where did my card go? I want to show you what it looks like. So I got this pretty quickly. I think it was a little more than a week's time. My EBT card came, and I was able to get close to $300 a month for food, and that does not include hot food at the grocery store. So any of that rotisserie chicken or things that are heated up and made at the deli, you cannot use it on. But I found a Korean market that just opened up, and they actually used my EBT card towards the hot food. So I was really shocked to see that I was able to do that. So if I'm, in a hurry, or if I want to grab something really quick and very inexpensive, I just grab, some Korean food with, it's like some meat and rice plates, and I just go on my way. So I've been really blessed and very thankful for the EBT program. Sign up for that as soon as you can, because I got that very quickly. And also I signed up for food banks. So I submitted my information to the food banks in my local area. All you have to do is Google food banks in my area and see what the rules are. Sometimes you have to bring your ID or proof that you have EBT. And so you get a bag of groceries, and I've received a lot of vegetables. Huge zucchinis, potatoes, anything you can imagine I've received from the food banks. And so basically all of my food is taken care of. My fridge is overflowing with food, more than I can actually eat. So, and also my neighbors have been contributing some food to me as well. So that's been great. Okay, here's one that's gonna hurt a lot of you out there. Cancel your subscriptions. Netflix, gone. Hulu, gone. Spotify, gone. So I went in, I cut out all of those subscriptions. What I did, what was easy for me to do, was go into my Amazon account, because I use a Fire Stick. All of my subscriptions were in there. Most of them were, not Netflix, but most of my Hulu and Discovery Plus and everything like that, they were in my Amazon account. I went in there and cut all those out. Sometimes you get like a couple weeks, you have a couple weeks left on your account for entertainment, so you could be okay for a couple weeks there, but it will get cut off on a cutoff date, so enjoy it while you have it. I left myself maybe one service. I think I left AMC Plus because I watched Interview with the Vampire and the last season of The Walking Dead. I was not going to miss that, so I left AMC Plus. But Comcast, so they sent me, I had AT&T, okay, It was $60 a month, and I got a letter in the mail from Comcast, Internet Essentials. It says that it's $29.95 per month, and then it's going to be zero after benefit applied, but that's not how it worked for me. Mine is $9.95 a month for Comcast, and it's basically high-speed internet, and it's the high-speed internet you know and love from Comcast. So was easy to call up AT&T and cancel my account. I had to do it over the phone, but they were very, very understanding and nice about this whole process. I told them what was going on. They were totally cool with it. So signed up. My bill is $10, basically $10 a month with Comcast. And that's going to be, of course, temporary, because they may check in on me at some point and say, hey, are you still unemployed? Are you still receiving zero income? So I'm sure that they will check in on that. Another thing I did was PG&E. So I went through the CARE program, and I'm able to get a discount on my PG&E bill. And that's been very helpful. It's about, I don't know, $8 a month. It's not much. It's a percentage of your account. So basically my bill has been $30 a month. So no big deal. One more thing I wanted to get into is medical coverage. So that's very important for people that have underlying conditions. It's very important for people like me. You know, I have thyroid problems. I am on medication, a daily medication. So it's very important that I have medical coverage at all times. So that is one of the things that I am still having some struggles with. So I went on a website called Covered California. It's covered CA, is it .org? I don't know, it doesn't say on this paper, but it's Covered California. I will link everything below with all the resources to the websites that you can go to sign up for these benefits. Now, Covered California, I signed up with Kaiser through there. There were other programs I could have signed up for, like Anthem. But since I already was a Kaiser member when I was employed, I was a Kaiser member. I don't want to lose my doctor. I don't want to lose the medication I've been on for a very long time. So I decided to just sign up with Kaiser. And the price difference of, you know, having a personal plan, it was about, I think $463 for my age bracket to have Kaiser, an individual plan, out of pocket. But through Covered California, and what they did was they took, it's kind of weird. So they take what you've made for the entire year of 2022, and they sort of came up with a number. Okay, so I basically pay $263 a month instead of the $465 or whatever it was. So it's not great. I really expected to get more help with medical, because I do have zero income right now, except for, of course, what I get through unemployment. So I thought that I would get some more help with medical. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen for me. So maybe a situation will be different for you. All I know is that you apply on Covered California, and whatever pops out, pretty much. So, and that one you did have to have your pay stubs ready to enter in your information about what you get paid. So, my credit cards. That's a whole different beast right there. And so everyone has their own different credit issues. What I did was I called the credit cards and told them what was going on, and they said, okay, what we'll do. Some of them are very different. So Capital One was able to waive any late fees for payments. So they said, you know, we won't give you a late fee if you don't pay. And that's basically it. So they're going to do that for about 3 months. Okay. So each credit card is going to be different, but that was one instance. I have Cricket Mobile. They weren't able to help me there. I'm not exactly sure why. I really forgot why they said they couldn't help me with my mobile phone bill, but that one I couldn't get help with. I don't recall why. Now, let's see what else. Housing. Now, okay, this is the big one. Housing. So I've got help with everything else, right? Except for my cell phone bill. Housing. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen for me. So when I called the housing department or wherever it was the local places to call in my area, I called 2 or 3 separate ones, and they all told me the same thing. They said in order to receive any type of housing assistance, you would need to have children, or you have to be over 65, or I believe it was having a disability. So maybe you had to be 65 with a disability, or you had to have some type of disability. I don't exactly recall the details, but I do know that I do not qualify. So with that, I will have to tell you very honestly that unemployment does not cover, will not ever cover my rent. It is not enough money. So I maxed out on unemployment. It is $450 a week is the max, no matter really how much you make. Okay, that's what the max is. It is not enough to pay my rent or bills. So I had to reach out to a family member for help with my rent. That is the sad truth about that. And of course I will have to pay that back at some point. And I will have to say that I'm probably really extremely lucky to have that type of help in my life. A lot of you out there probably don't have someone that will pay their rent. Now, this rent was paid on the assumption that I would have a job by now. So they thought maybe 1 month. Sure, let me give you $2,100. Let me go ahead and give you the money. So it's been very hard because I know that this is already the middle of November. And I know that if I got a job tomorrow, let's say, I still probably wouldn't get paid in time or get paid enough to pay rent. I don't know. Sometimes when you join on to a new company, it might be during the middle of a pay period. I really can't say. But I have a sinking feeling I will have to ask this person for rent again. And I'm not looking forward to asking. So I'm a little torn. So anyway, before I get emotional about that, I do hope that I've helped so far with talking about benefits for when you're unemployed. Now, I'm going to also go into interviewing because I've interviewed with a lot of companies, small and large. And I'm going to share my feedback on that. Right now, it is cutthroat. It is extremely hard. I have a very impressive resume, okay? 2 pages worth of employment history, and I have been doing content marketing in the e-commerce realm for over 15 years, okay? So I started in 2007 at Yahoo. Yahoo was basically my first real job out of college. So that was a huge 9-year span of doing many great things at that company. I interviewed Drew Barrymore while I was there when she launched her flower beauty line. I interviewed Betsy Johnson, fashion designer. I did a lot of amazing things in my life. So this is the hard part. Job hunting is the hard part. So like I said, I've been looking for jobs for 5 months now, and I've had a lot of interviews, very big companies, very small companies. So what I do, first of all, is I create a chart of my hourly, my minimum payment per hour that I can live off of, and then my maximum. so that when a recruiter calls, because they call at odd hours, they can call at 6 o'clock in the morning my time, or they can call 8 o'clock at night here, and I got to be ready for when that recruiter calls, and then they ask me, what's your rate, what's the hourly that you'll take for a contract. I have it written right on a whiteboard right behind me so that I can reference it and say, yes, my minimum is $45 an hour, and I prefer to have benefits. If you do not offer a benefits package, then my minimum would be $48 an hour and up. So it's great to have your bracket ready to go so that you don't fumble and take, $38 an hour when you really can't live off of that. So write things down. I have a whiteboard that I got at Walmart. It's great to just keep some notes on. It's great to keep your interviews written there so that you know when they're coming up. Of course, put all your interviews in your Google Calendar on your phone so that you get notifications, because I have booked so many interviews in one day that I was just like, wait a minute, I have 3 today? Oh my God. And I didn't have a chance to eat or take a break. So definitely make sure that you're keeping track of your interviews as well as you're booking them in. And also do ask about compensation, because sometimes they're very vague about it. They won't tell you, but what you probably can do and get an answer for is ask if it falls between a bracket. So you can say something like, can you tell me if the hourly compensation for this job lies between $40 to $50 an hour? Does it fall between that? At least, can you tell me that? Because there's a lot of times when I've actually gone through the process. I've gone through 2 rounds of interviews, recruiter calls, this 2-week process to find out that I would be making way under what I could live off of. And I'm going, oh, what a waste of time. And I even tried to negotiate as well and saying, I live in the Bay Area. This is not, and this is a Bay Area company. So I thought, having it being a senior level position, I would expect more payment for, an hourly or salary wage, and then finding out it's way below what I could live off of. So definitely make sure that you have a clear idea of at least between the bracket in which they will offer payment, so you don't waste your time. Things that I've learned, valuable things that I've learned. I've been told my resume is visually appealing by almost every person that has interviewed me. They go, wow, I really like your resume. And it is 2 pages. It's fine. It's 15 years worth of work. So 2 pages I feel like is fine. I did this in Canva. Canva has an amazing resume builder in there. It is a little bit of it is tedious work, because I don't know if you're familiar with Canva, there's lots of layers, just like Photoshop. Each piece of text is its own layer, and you sort of kind of have to go and play with it for a little bit to get it to look right, but it was worth working on this because I have my little picture here. People always comment about it. People always comment about the font. They comment about the layout. They actually love looking at it. And it's like, okay, maybe that's why I'm getting interviews out of 200 people that are applying for these jobs. Maybe they're looking at it and saying, wow, what a great designer. She knows what she's doing. I have no idea, but they always bring up the layout and the look and feel of my resume every time. So go into Canva, guys. Canva is free. You can get a paid version of it, but the free version is amazing. I turned this into a PDF on Canva so that I was able to download it onto my phone, into the files folder, onto my computers, anywhere I could. My tablet has it on there. Everywhere that I need to just pull this up, it's there in a PDF, okay? Now, so if you download this from Canva and you want to do a Word doc, it's not really going to come out properly. So make sure you also have a Word document version of your resume that's a little less flashy as this one. You want it to look, pretty plain. I mean, this isn't a resume, but you want it to look plain, because some of the recruiters have run it through like a keyword finder or something like that, and they want it to be plain. So have 2 versions on hand for sure. Another thing, a recruiter gave me some really great common questions that hiring managers ask. So I can actually leave this in the bottom in the comments or in the description box or whatever it's called at the bottom of questions that you can print out and sort of read over before an interview, because they're they're pretty much the questions that they've been asking me. Let me just tell you, it's like almost like they go and they've printed, the hiring managers print these questions out and ask them, because they've almost hit the nail on every single one. And I've written my answers in here as it pertains to the job. So every job is going to be different. Every job has different requirements. So you want to tailor your responses to the qualifications for that particular job. I'm finding out that's very important. Also print out the qualifications, print out the job description, print it out and look at it. Like, sit and read it, like everywhere you go, on the toilet. I mean, read it, because there's a lot of times where I'm in an interview and they go, wait a minute, so you don't know how to use XYZ? And I'll go, no, I don't know how to use it, but I'm a very quick learner. I could probably learn it within a day. And they'll be like, well, it's a requirement. It's on the bullet point. Working with recruiters on a daily basis can be annoying. I mean, they call at odd hours of the day, 5 a.m., things like that. But make sure to check your email. You can even make an email account just for job searches, and make sure you're putting that email address on your LinkedIn profile and on your on your resume. If you want to keep it separate from all of the other clutter that you get, it's a really good idea, because I have missed some really important emails because it's the only email address I use, and it got some really important messages from hiring managers got sort of smashed over the top of, like, my Bloomingdale's, my Macy's emails, you know, like all these other emails just kind of went and kind of pushed down these important emails that I received. And I was supposed to set up an alternative time and date for another interview, and I missed that email, and I didn't see it until 12 hours after they had sent it. So it seemed like, wow, Krista's really, really looking for a job, isn't she? She's doing something else, you know. So I was like, oh, crap. So I apologized, you know, and I said, hey, I'm really sorry I didn't see this email. Oops, you know, what can I do for you? So definitely I'm going to do this myself, is create an email address just for your job search, just for professional purposes. Another thing is to definitely keep a chart of all of these recruiters that are calling, because you never know. I mean, so I received a recruiter call for a job that is sort of a company that I really, really want to work for. If they only knew how excited I'd be to work for them. I was on I'm apparently on the short list, and I haven't heard anything in about 2 weeks. And I've been bothering this recruiter saying, hey, I thought I was on the short list. What's going on? Where's my interview? You know, you got to kind of poke these people and ask where the process is going. Have they hired anyone yet? Because staying in the loop is kind of up to you most of the time. Definitely check in and see what's going on. Keeping a Google Doc of everything is the best thing you can do. The other thing I wanted to say, some of these larger companies, they've got at least 200 applicants at this current time, because there's so many people looking for a job. Plus, a lot of the jobs are now remote. So someone in Boston can, you know, apply for a job in San Francisco, and they can get it because everything's remote. So there's so many people going after the same job you are now. Now you're not in the running with, you know, 4 people. It's more like 200. So they kind of go through batches and batches of these resumes, and they narrow it down to what I was told, about 35 resumes And then they really narrow it down to 5. And so I've been picked for a lot of these interviews where I was narrowed down from piles of interviewees. And wow, I mean, I'm still not getting these jobs. I'm still sitting here, not getting them. So I'm trying to figure out this process. So what I'm finding out is if I ask, now this is the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with. If you want me to do a follow-up video, I'll be happy to do it. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'll answer them. But I started asking a question that was pretty interesting, and it's been kind of helpful. Now, let me find it. I write notes about everything these days. I'll ask, is there an experience or job skill that you wish that I had that I either didn't mention or that you don't see on my resume? It's got these people stumped, and they're like, well, now I've been applying for a lot of jobs in the video gaming industry, and I do not have video gaming industry background, but I would like to get my foot in the door, and that's sort of the direction I'd like to go in. I will straight up ask and say, do I have to have video game industry experience? And they're kind of like, yeah, I mean, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Didn't get this one. I guess I didn't get it. I do have gaming experience. I do game. I know games. Okay, so that didn't help me. That is not helping me. They want video game experience. But when I looked at this particular fellow's LinkedIn profile, it looked like he did not have gaming experience before he landed his role. So he brought it up. He said, I didn't have gaming experience and I still work here. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's a plus. That's a plus. But it kind of stops them in their tracks when you ask these questions about, did I have, at the end of the interview, I'll say, how do I compare to the other candidates if you've interviewed today? And they'll be like, oh, like challenge them. I mean, they're challenging you with questions that you're like unprepared for. So give them one. So see how they handle it. Now I always ask, is there anything that stood out on my resume? And why did you feel that I was a perfect candidate for this role? I want to find out what they saw in this beast here that they liked so that I can keep, these points on my resume. Maybe I want to switch my resume up a little bit, but I want to know what they liked about it. And I caught one person that didn't even look at it. They were like, oh, it had a cool picture. I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't look at it, did you? Just be honest, man. But yeah, I kind of caught the person telling me that they didn't even look, so whatever. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys with this. I'm done. I'm exhausted. I really need to take some time to rest here. It is an exhausting process looking for a job, especially when you need income immediately. So I totally understand, and I'm here to kind of help you. If you can help me, maybe send this video to someone who lost their job recently. Maybe they need some help finding resources for benefits and, get the food stamps going. It's been great. Don't have any shame in it. I have my food stamp card and I am proud of it because I have no money. I use my food stamp card very proudly, and I'm very honored to be able to take advantage of these programs because I seriously thought I would be, I don't know. The things that go through my mind at night are kind of nightmarish. When I see people on the street with signs saying that they'll, do anything for money, they'll work for food, and I'm just thinking I don't want that to be me. I don't want to be out there in the cold. I'm trying to do whatever I can. Someone did say, and they weren't trying to shame me, they were just sort of like, hey, why didn't you have a savings when this all happened? And why weren't you prepared for this type of, why weren't you prepared? And I said, well, I'm sorry, I just got divorced last year, and, I paid a lawyer a lot of money to do this, and I did not really come out on top during the divorce. So, I went through a lot of financial problems before this even happened. So I was already in a bad state before I got laid off. So yeah, everyone's going to have individual, lives with savings. That's great. If you have 6 months worth of rent or mortgage payments in your bank account, kudos to you. That's great. Then you are prepared. I was not prepared. I couldn't prepare. So I'm sure there's lots of people like me that have nothing in the bank right now, or just waiting for unemployment check to come. It's just reality right now. So do what you got to do. So I'm going to leave you with some kind, loving words, because I totally know what you're going through, and you're going to get a job. You keep trying, you're going to land a job. That's what everyone keeps telling me, at least. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Keep your chin up. It's going to happen. You just have to put a lot of work into the searching and the interviewing, the prepping. It's a lot. If you just got laid off, my heart goes out to you. It is very tough, and it's very scary, and I've had lots of nightmares at night, and it's been one of those things where you really kind of have to focus on self-care and your mental well-being. So I've been doing aerobics exercises on YouTube in my living room. And they've been great. You don't need a gym membership. You just need to move. You just need to do some movement, get your blood pumping, and it actually increases your endorphins. It makes you happy. So get your dog, get your cat, whatever. Have fun with your animal while you're home. I mean, this is sort of like a vacation you didn't ask for. So take some time out for yourself as well. Don't, go crazy over your resume. I did have, I will have to say one more thing too. I'm sorry I keep thinking of these things, but that's great, right? I did ask a coworker to look at my resume. I said, hey, can you take a look at this and let me know if there's anything on here that needs to be tweaked, or maybe I'm not highlighting something that needs to be highlighted. And they did give me some really good feedback. So please look at LinkedIn, look at what people are listing as their job skills. Like, type in what you want to do. Type in, content marketing manager into LinkedIn, and look at people that are in the positions that you want to be in, and look at what they're saying about what their skill set is. Look at the way they write it. Don't copy it word for word. You know better than that. Make it into your own. Make it your own, and kind of craft something that you're proud of and get it out there. I've been posting comments on LinkedIn with hashtags open to work, laid off, those kind of hashtags. Look around on LinkedIn and see what kind of hashtags people in your industry are using. I got some feedback from that as well. Some people are sharing my message that I posted on LinkedIn. So your network is also powerful. Connect with those people that you worked with 10 years ago. Do it. I mean, you never know. They could be a CEO of a company that you admire and you didn't know. So, LinkedIn is a very powerful tool for connecting with old colleagues, recent colleagues, and just making a network for yourself and keeping in touch with them and seeing how they're doing and where they're working at. Because it really does. I mean, that's a free resource for you to check out. And then, heck, try Craigslist. There's actually a nonprofit job that nonprofit organization, I should say, that has a nice job that I actually think I'm qualified for. So I'm going to apply for it. Craigslist, of all places. So try it out. You never know where you can find your next career, your next home, I guess you could say. And don't forget, there's tons of remote jobs out there that people are trying to get. So one of the things I was told was that there's a lot of local companies in the Bay Area that want people that live in the area. They want people that to come in the office, and so that kind of gave me a bit of an edge over some of the other applicants that were not willing to relocate. And I said, I'm local to the area. I can come into the office every day. And they were like, check, great, because there's a lot of people that don't want to come to the office. So I'm like, great, I'm vaccinated and boosted, so I'm ready to go. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up, is that a lot of companies are requiring the boosters. So I did have my recent booster in September for the latest variation. So I'm ready to go there. Some companies require it. So I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go. I'm tired. So good luck to you. Reach out. Tell me what you think. What kind of information do you need from me? I could provide more. I could dig around and look for more. And please share this. Please repay me for my information by sharing. And sharing it with somebody that works in the marketing industry and e-commerce, just like the job I'm looking for. All right. I'm going insane. I gotta go. All right. Bye-bye.